This morning, I had to take care of something really annoying, like taxes, calculating everything that I've spent and earned this month. Very frustrating usually, especially during COVID. But I realized how much money I actually spend per month on subscriptions. It's insane, you don't realize it, but every month there is the same amount of money. If you use it, don't use it, they just take it away from you and you usually forget to cancel it. There are a lot of cons to it. There are also some pros. I would love to address both in this video for all of these services and when and how and when not you should actually subscribe to something and pay for it on a monthly basis, where it makes more sense to just straight up buy it. My personal solution, and also the thing that annoys me the most. All of it coming up in this video. So first up, I think everyone knows what I mean by subscription services. Netflix, Spotify, these kind of things. Photoshop, they have this entire Adobe suite, whatever. It's very expensive. You pay it every month. And I have to say, we're at a point where I pay more per month in these subscriptions than I ever before did on the same things, like buying CDs, buying DVDs, VHS, or maybe even a very, very old school tape. So are these services scams? Before we get into that, let's talk about the pros and cons. Pros for the subscription: way lower entry costs. So instead of paying something like $1,000 for software, a high pro software, you just pay, I don't know, $20 per month. Support: you have it for the entire time you have the subscription. Same as updates, usually. Some don't let you update. You can use it whenever you need to use it. So, for example, you want to design a website, you need a program for that. You buy the subscription for a month, do the entire design stuff, and then if you don't need to update it constantly, you just get it like twice a year to do some updates. If you use it a lot, for example, most people watch a ton of Netflix, then yes, it's worth it. I think Netflix right now in Europe, I think the middle tier subscriptions are around 15, 16 bucks, which I think is quite fair if you consider just going to the movies. It's the same price per person, and let's be honest, we all share our Netflix with multiple persons, so it's fairly inexpensive. You have way more to choose from on demand, instantly on your TV, Spotify, in your headphones, straight away, no delay. It's very convenient. And for pro users, there are also taxes. If you buy something monthly, you can directly recoup it and you don't have to do it over years and you get taxes back. That's also kind of an advantage why people always lease cars. The cons on the other side is definitely that you subscribe to something and you have to remember to cancel it. And that's what most companies are calculating with. They have a certain percentage of people that pay for it and never actually use it, and that's what's making the money. That's why most of these companies are switching to subscription-based kind of service. For example, I don't know, your gym membership. How many people pay it monthly and don't go there? So these subscriptions, especially the ones where you can't cancel every month, are the ones that are really expensive to you as a consumer. Some companies don't do upgrades when it comes to software. They just release it, people subscribe to it, and then they forget about it and just take the cash and don't take care of the product anymore. Sometimes, especially when it comes to games, they promise features that are never implemented. You have to be online, usually for most of these services. Most or some of them have offline features, but offline you can just consume what you previously downloaded, of course. A bigger point is also you cannot sell. You don't own anything. A DVD, you buy it, you can sell it, share it with a friend. It still has a certain value. The second you don't subscribe to that service anymore, all of that value is kind of gone. And probably the biggest con, people consume more than they maybe should. I know so many friends that just watch 24/7 Netflix, that just listen to music on Spotify 24/7, background music, just background Netflix watching, just watching, listening whenever, wherever. That's kind of a little degrading the art form behind it, but more on that in the next part. You see, we mostly talked about the pros and cons for people using the services. But what about those people that rely on these services? So for example, the film production company that works together with Netflix to get their movie out there. What about me as a musician, music producer? I work with Spotify together to get my music out there. Is it good? Is it bad? Because you probably heard a lot of people complain about Spotify not paying the artists accordingly. And honestly, my personal opinion is that these people that complain about it don't know how to play that game. Spotify changed everything for music, and if you know how to work with these changes, you can actually make more money than before. It's making it way more open for everyone. A kid at home in their home studio can just sing into a mic, put a beat underneath, upload it to Spotify, and if the algorithm and the people that are listening to it actually like it, it gets a ton of plays. I know people that are like 16, 17 years old, they make $1,000 just with their Spotify streams. That's amazing. Never ever this was ever before possible in any kind of way. There were way too many restrictions. There was a label in between, a manager in between, then the company that printed the CDs and all this kind of stuff. There were a lot of barriers. They're all almost basically gone. Of course, the old people that still are used to CD sales start complaining, but I think it's just a change. It's just a switch. It's just like taking it somewhere else, and if you adapt to it, you can make the same amount of money. So it's really up to you to adapt to a new situation. And when we're talking about Netflix, which I think is really interesting, it's kind of breaking apart this everything is Hollywood. Let's, for example, take Money Heist. It's a Spanish production. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, this would have never been possible to produce something in Spanish by a Spanish company in that country and make it a worldwide TV show hit. This never happened before. Same here in Germany. There are like 3 German Netflix TV shows. They're amazing. I've never seen something so good from a German company. Usually the stuff really sucks. So that's good for the people making the content. What's a little bad is, again, what I already talked about, like people just consume it very fast and easy. Like I remember back in the days when I bought a new album, I went to the store, I was totally hyped. I spent a lot of money, like it felt like something really big that I just got like once a month. And then I went back home and I listened to every single song, start to finish, multiple times for weeks and months and years. Every song that I ever owned on a CD or vinyl, I still know by heart, 100%. So it was something that I valued a lot. Today, Spotify, I just open it, listen to something 10 seconds, I don't like it, I skip it, next one. I don't even know what the title of the songs are that I'm listening to. I don't even know the name of the artist. It's very, like, it's not connected anymore. There's no more direct way and connection between the artist and the listener. But again, it gives more and younger people a new chance that wouldn't be otherwise possible. So all in all, I think it's safe to say that it has pros and cons. It really depends on how much you actually use that subscription service. There is just like one thing that bothers me a lot. I make music here in the studio. I use a ton of programs and plugins that work on my computer. And more of these companies switch to a subscription-based model, which might like look fine at the beginning, but paying like 20 per month is quite expensive if you think about it. Especially if you make music like me forever. I will never stop making music. I have to pay it for the next 20, 30, 40 years. And then it's way more expensive than just buying it once. Yes, you get the upgrades, but I don't really like upgrades that much. It changes a lot. Like I usually have a song open with like 60, 70 tracks, and every track has individual plugins on there, like hundreds and hundreds of them. And if every one of these companies, there are multiple companies, has a subscription-based kind of model, it gets kind of annoying. Also that like not having it for a month and then again for a month, it just doesn't work in a pro kind of scenario. I don't like it at all. I just refuse to like switch to subscription. I have my plugins in there that work. If there's a company making a subscription-based kind of model, I just switch to a smaller company that usually, that's at least what I found out, makes a better product at the end. I also switch a lot to hardware. I mean, for example, right here, this Jupiter 8. it's actually not a Jupiter 8. I wish it would be a Jupiter 8. It's a Super Jupiter. It's an amazing synthesizer. It sounds really good. And I could have like a software version of it that I pay monthly or something that is similar to it. But here I have the real deal. Yes, it's way, way more expensive. I bought this at like 4,000 euros, which is very expensive. But again, in the long term, this one right here, it increases in value. It's now at least 700 to 800 euros worth more in half a year. It will increase even further because this is something really rare and a lot of people want to own. That's something that just doesn't work with a plugin. So I basically use it for free. I even make like a profit. And I have the real deal, knobs, buttons, faders. We don't have to discuss that. That is a whole lot more fun. So that's kind of my solution. I will try to have most of the stuff as outboard physical gear again. Very old school, back to the roots. It just makes more sense for me. And it's a lot more fun. I like the workflow a lot more. That's my approach to trying avoiding these subscription-based kind of models, at least when it comes to like a pro working scenario for me here in the studio. Anyways, let me know your thoughts about it. Private, yes, no? I think yes, at least if you use it. Pro, for me, a definite no. Let me know about your view about it. Also, you're kind of forced to keep it. Like, let's say I have a customer, I make a song for them. Every second they could like ask me to send them again parts of that song, even in a year or two, and then I don't have it, or I don't have the plugins and the software that I need to work with it. That's really like, it's a bummer. But anyways, let me know what you think about it. What is your approach? Are you using subscription-based kind of stuff already in your pro working environment? And tomorrow we'll see us back again here in the studio, music making.